Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how to download and install Visual Studio 2022 on a Windows 11 machine. Now this will also work on a Windows 10 machine. So don't worry if you have a Windows 10 machine, this tutorial video will still work for you. Now this is a step-by-step beginner friendly tutorial. So sit back and relax and just follow the steps that I'm going to show you. So first you need to go to visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads page. Here once you go, you will find three options: community, professional and enterprise. Now community edition is free, so you can download this edition. But if you want to go with a licensed version, then you can also download professional or enterprise editions. Now, as Visual Studio is very widely used by many programmers, so even if you are not a .NET programmer, you can still use this IDE. It is very powerful, and you can write your code and run your code using this IDE, like Python, C++, JavaScript. It supports all these different languages. So let's click on this download button. You can see here the setup has downloaded. So let's go here and click this. So the first thing that it will do is install an installer. Okay, it is called as Visual Studio Installer, and then any subsequent packages which needs to be installed as part of this Visual Studio framework, then it will all be installed through this installer. So let's click on this continue button, and you can see now the installer is getting installed. So now the Visual Studio installer has installed. Now it is asking me what components do I want to use. Now Visual Studio supports a lot of different packages, different components, so different workloads. Actually, this is the workloads page. Now you have individual components also here. So you can also select if you want a specific component, you can select here, and that will get installed. You have different language packages. So I'm using by default it will be English, so I will go with this. But if you are comfortable in something else like Japanese or French or Chinese, you can select those, and everything will be in that particular language for you. And then you can select the install location here. So by default it will be this location. If you want to change it, you can also change it here. So let's go to the workloads. That way it will take care of all the components, because a particular workload may install 10 or 15 different components. No need to go here individually and select those. The workload will take care of that. So for me, I will select like the ASP.NET Web Development. I'll select Azure Development, and I will also select this .NET Desktop Development. Now you can see it is saying 11.16 GB. So ensure that you have sufficient space. If you don't need something, then don't install it, and you can install it later on as well, right? Don't worry if you do not want to install it right now. You can just go with one of these, and then later on again launch Visual Studio Installer, which will be in your system anyway. So I'll go with these options, and now I will click on install button. So now Visual Studio has been installed. So it will now open Visual Studio 2022. So you can now see Visual Studio 2022 is open. Now you have these different options, right? Clone a repository. So if your code is in Azure DevOps or GitHub, you can clone it, and it will get the code and open it within Visual Studio. Or you can open a project or solution in an existing project or solution, or open a local folder where you already have some code, or you can create a new project. So in this case, let's select this create a new project. So now you can see there are a lot of templates here. Okay, so these are all different templates which Visual Studio provides by default. You can also install new templates. So depending on new workspaces that you install using Visual Studio installer, these templates, new templates will get added to this list. Now, with respect to languages, as I said at the start, you have different support for different languages like C#, C++, JavaScript, F#, Python, and then you have different platforms. So you can develop for all these different platforms. Okay. And then you have this all project types. So you can create different types of projects, and then start coding. Once you create a particular project type, you can do your coding in your selected language. So here what we will do is we will create a sample ASP.NET application. So let's search for a MVC application. So this one here is coming up, ASP.NET Core Web App Model View Controller. So let's select this. So select next here. Here you can see by default it is providing a project name. So let's type something here, YouTube demo vs 2022. My default location is this one. Solution name will also be this. So let's click on next button, and here you can see .NET 8 and .NET 9 both has been installed as part of this process. So you can select one of these. Let me select .NET 9 here. You can leave rest of the things as it is and click on create button. Now you can see that the project has been created. Okay, this is the standard structure of a ASP.NET MVC application. You can also see that a GitHub Copilot has also been enabled, right? So now this is also available to you. So if you have any doubts when creating your application, any project or any application, then what you can do is you can chat with the Copilot, and it can give you different kind of suggestions or help you to write better code. You can also see the models here. So you have this 4.15 mini, right, which is the latest one. So like these different models are also there. So that's a great new addition to this. So let's go back to the Solution Explorer, and let's go to the views. Here you have the home page, and this is the default page which will be launched when I run this application, which will show you like welcome. Okay, home page, and on home page you will see a welcome message. So let's run it. Now you can see the browser has launched, and now you can see this welcome message. So what I will do is that let me kind of edit it a little bit so that you can see the changes here. So if you are a .NET developer, perhaps you will know that there is something called as view data. So what I will do is I'll go to controller. I'll go to controller here, home controller, and here in the index action method, what I'll do is I'll add a view data object here, and then let's say, yeah, ASP.NET Core 9.0, right? And let's copy this, go back to your index.html, and here we will say welcome at and view data name. So it should display ASP.NET 9 here. Okay, now let's run it. You can see welcome ASP.NET Core 9.0. That's how you download and install Visual Studio 2022 on a Windows 11 machine. Now, as I said earlier, if you want to do some modifications, right, go back to your Visual Studio installer, right, and click on this modify. So when you click on modify, you will get all those options again, which I showed you at the beginning of this tutorial. And you can then check, uncheck, or add new things, right? In Visual Components, you can install other runtime versions also here, right? .NET 6, .NET 5, different framework versions are also available here. So if you're still your project contains like these framework versions, then you can also install this and do the coding in Visual Studio 2022. So if you like this video, then hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will be notified when I upload another video in near future. Thanks a lot for watching.